Okay, so yeah, I didn't really think I'd be building out a YouTube channel, but you know what? Here we are. Short intro, I'm Kat G. I live in Brooklyn, New York. I lived here pretty much most of my life. I write, I take photographs of concerts, I tend to be a caustic bitch, I like tarot, and I've always wanted to be a journalist. Uh, that's not what I do for a living, very obviously, but well, I still kind of want to do it. And I don't know. I've posted a quick video on my Meta channels as far as the current state of Meta platforms. Now, here's a short version of it. I'm not going to leave the Meta platforms. Seriously, I'm not. And I'll tell you why. And full credit goes to Feminista Jones for pointing this out. But all of this enshittification of social media is because we have formed community online. Social media is far from new. Okay, I'm from the older school of social media. I'm an elder millennial, if you want to call it that. But I'm from the live journal and GeoCities and AOL chat rooms era of social media. So I'm kind of an old head where the internet's concerned. The thing is, originally, social media of any and all kinds was created so that people could connect. Well, they did, and that's just it. That's exactly it, really. People connected. People found community. They started changing the world around them. And people in power really didn't like that very much. And considering that people in power are generally very rich people, well, there you have it. But the bottom line remains is that social media did not get enshittified overnight. This was definitely none of it new. The thing is this, Twitter did not start going downhill just because of the change in ownership to the current owner. It started going downhill when bots started to proliferate on there. I took myself off of Twitter more or less in 2012 because it just got so incredibly annoying. It was not a great book marketing engine. It was not a great socialization engine, and it was definitely not a great news algorithm either. Technically, the algorithm, for the most part, is what enshittified Meta, because we were there through the whole Cambridge Analytica thing. We were there through all those cute quizzes that turned out to be massive security breaches. We were there through all of that. But all of that also very directly contributed to the changes in social media that we see today. Now, the thing is this. I did two things when it came to Facebook, and that showed me the extent to which everything was just being fucked up. First things first, I installed Social Fixer. This is a browser plugin, and I limited my Facebook to just when I'm on the computer. Let me tell y'all, it was a night and day difference between what I was being shown on the phone app versus what I was getting through a filtered, ad-free, sponsored post-free thing that I was getting thanks to Social Fixer. It was a night and day difference. Now, I did a backup profile for my main, and what happened was I got to see the same thing in action. The algorithm has not had the chance to learn my new profile yet. That's great. But also, this means I get far better content, just far more generally better energy content, for lack of better words, on my fresh profile as opposed to on my main one. Night and day's difference. But it also showed me just to which extent Facebook has been enshittifying itself, thanks to Zuckerberg, for a number of years. If I really have to think back to how far back all that goes, I would probably have to say around 2011, 2012, which was President Obama's second election campaign. That's how long Facebook has been screwing up. And honestly, it's unfortunate. It's unfortunate. Again, I'm from the older school of social media. I was lucky enough that I did not grow up with the internet being a staple of my life, but it was definitely a defining part of how I learned to connect with people. It was a defining part in how I socialize with people. It actually saved my life in many, many, many ways on many different occasions. So to say the least, I'm dismayed at the changes in social media that are happening right now. But the thing I'm going to tell you is that none of the changes that are happening right now are new. None whatsoever. I mean, sure, it's a lot more prevalent now, and the current generations are all of them going to be the ones that grew up on social media as a general whole. I don't envy them. I do not envy them that, because now they have to grow up with AI, which I have a whole lot of issues with, both as a creative and just on a conceptual level. And they also have no sense of discernment. This is actually something I'm tremendously grateful for as an internet old head, because in the era of LiveJournal, a lot of the contrarian and crunchy shit that's become popular now, it was roundly refuted and rebuked on LiveJournal. We didn't have a problem with anti-vaxxers in those days. We didn't, okay? Andrew Wakefield would retract a study just a handful of years after he claimed it. But the thing is, all those crunchy anti-vax parents generally change their mind pretty damn quick when their kid caught measles, okay? Like, everybody thinks that they know better than the doctor until the virus that they're trying to dismiss as no big deal comes back and bites them in the ass. Seriously, like, I want to just think back to those years, and I'm just like, we didn't have all of that contrarian, I know better than people who studied this most of their lives bullshit that's going on right now. We didn't have that. Or if we did, then those people would get very roundly mocked for their shit. And either they saw for themselves through the hard experience that they were wrong, or they would eventually realize, wait a minute, maybe I should read a little bit. See, that's the thing I miss during LiveJournal years. People would read. That I miss, honestly. But the thing is, the same thing happened with LiveJournal, more or less, that's happening with Meta right now. And the thing that happened with LiveJournal is that it got sold in 2006, I believe. It got sold to Six Apart, which was a Russian-held company. So basically, LiveJournal has become Russia's favorite choice of social media. That was 19 years ago, more or less. And quite a lot of the same people who left LiveJournal at the time got onto a new website known as Facebook. That's when that happened. I was in college then. And the thing is, a lot of us, even back in the college student-only years, we loved having that sort of a connection. And again, this parlayed itself into community. And of course, then the Cambridge Analytica happened. And that's when really all the trouble started. And social media as a whole began getting enshittified. I mean, whatever issues with TikTok ownership there might be, here's the thing. I don't think TikTok's going to go anywhere, and I'll tell you why I think so. Because it is too effective an engine at spreading something. This is something that the GOP actually wants to have ownership of. It would suit them so much more. Because then, considering the current climate on Twitter and Meta platforms, and joining TikTok and all of this, that would just be a complete trifecta for messaging. This is how I know TikTok's not going to go anywhere. So please take heed of that. It might be cold comfort, but there's always that. And the thing is also, the fact that we did build these communities on social media is all the more reason to stick it out on the Meta platforms for as long as we possibly can. Because really, that is the entire purpose to them doing this. They're just trying to wreck the communities that we've built. And Zuckerberg's whining, oh, it's unfair that the facts don't support. Facts are facts, sweetheart. Nobody cares. Okay? And if reality tends to have a left bias, which personally I don't understand. Reality is reality. And if you can prove that reality, and if you have enough reading comprehension skills to understand the evidence of that reality, then I don't really give a fuck about how fair or something is or isn't. And nobody else does either. It's like, yeah, it's unfair. Guess what? Who cares? We've built these communities, and if some rich whiner doesn't like that reality doesn't fit his ideology, that's a him problem. Why should it be our problem? Why should it be on us, on the people who built these communities? Why should it be on us to constantly have to reinvent ourselves on another platform, rebuild everything that we've done, migrate this, migrate that? Enough. Enough. I've been doing that since freaking GeoCities. I'm tired. And very frankly, the thing that I don't want to do is I don't want to lose the communities that I've built over basically the last 18, 19 years, give or take. No. Why should we have to sacrifice what we built just because of whiny billionaires? Make that shit make sense, because it sure as fuck doesn't. And yeah, I'm going to be talking quite a lot of things from the elder millennial perspective, because here's the thing about my generation. We're lucky enough to straddle two worlds. We have had the bulk of our childhood in the pre-social media, pre-internet era, and we got to see technology evolve at the speed that it has evolved. And for all that I wax nostalgic about the early days of the internet, that time period is probably one of the toughest, because primarily it was isolating. It was very isolating. Ooh, apologies. It was isolating, and if not for the internet, I probably would have never learned to connect with people. That's not a life I want to think about, really, if I have to consider it. But yeah, there's quite a lot, and maybe this channel is going to go somewhere. Maybe it won't. I don't know. Oh yeah, and I also love to knit, and I generally do wear what I make. And yeah, I just want to have a little fun on here. That's all it is.